Welcome to the 19th Sunday in Ordinary Time here. My name is Father William. The readings of this Sunday are inviting us to reflect on the question, where can we find God in different moments of our lives? The answer is we can find God in silence and in storms. The background of the first reading is that the prophet Elijah had just seen the manifestation of God in a fire that consumed his offering. This was a sign of the living God of Israel against the false prophets of Baal. After this episode, the prophet Elijah slaughtered the false prophets of Baal. This act of Elijah angered the wife of King Ahab, Queen Jezebel. Queen Jezebel swore to Prophet Elijah, "May the gods deal with me so severely if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like that of one of them," referring to the false prophets that Prophet Elijah had slaughtered. Now, the prophet Elijah was overcome with fear, and he went to Mount Horeb for safety. In his moment of distress, God came to prophet Elijah. He approached him. But this time, God did not manifest himself through great signs, like he manifested himself when he talked to Moses on the very same Mount Horeb. This time, God manifested himself to Prophet Elijah through a tiny whispering sound. Sometimes we fail to encounter God in our lives because we are looking for him in extraordinary situations. We'd like to encounter him through extraordinary people, when he's actually among us in the ordinary moments of our lives. Sometimes we want to encounter God or expect a great word of spiritual encouragement from a well-known spiritual leader or spiritual guide, when we can actually have the same inspiration, the same word of encouragement, or a word of encouragement that can save our lives from our friends or from our family members. The gospel of today reminds us that God is not only found in silence, but also in storms. In the very difficult moments of our lives, God is present. We all have different storms in our lives: broken relationships, couples that struggle to have children, financial crisis, perpetual health problems, vocational crisis, continuously failing exams. Today the Lord is assuring us that even though we might not feel the presence of God in these storms, in these problems, the Lord is there. He is always approaching us. He is always taking the first step, just like he approached Elijah and the disciples in the boat. One of my favorite greetings of Jesus is, "Do not be afraid." After the resurrection, Jesus greets his disciples by saying, "Peace be with you." He invites his disciples to be calm, not to be afraid, not to be overcome by fear. Again, in today's gospel, Jesus says, "It is I. Do not be afraid." Let us remember that whenever life hits us with various storms, various challenges, when we feel we're just at the limit of our powers. The Lord is assuring us today not to be afraid, because fear can make us concentrate on the hugeness of our problems rather than on the power of Jesus. This is precisely what leads Peter to sink. His lack of faith is caused by a failure of concentration. He is distracted by the fierce raging wind. His mind became more affected. His mind became more affected by the circumstances than by the faith in the power of his Master, in the power of Jesus. And once again he became afraid. He became filled with fear. But what is important to note in this reading is that Peter never lost faith. He gained his faith by crying to Jesus in desperation. He cried, "Lord, save me." In the moment of most dire human need, there is but one cry, just as there is but one source of salvation. We need to cry to the Lord, "Oh God, come to my assistance. Lord, make haste to help me." The words of Jesus are re-echoed in today's gospel. Jesus said in the Gospel of John, "I have said this to you so that in me you may have peace. In the world you face persecution, but take courage. I have conquered the world." John 16, verse 33. May the Lord bless his word. May the Lord bless you. Shalom.